Saudações, galera! Começando mais um Canarinho Cast.
Eu sou Rodrigo Massa.
E eu sou o Rafael Brasileiro. E como vocês podem ver, a gente não tá sozinho. Hoje não é Beto e Romário. Hoje tá mais para termos Ronaldo, Ronaldinho e Rivaldo. Porque hoje a gente tem um craque digno de camisa 10, tá? Hoje a gente tá com ninguém menos do que Drake Ramberg. Esse cara aqui tem muita história para contar sobre camisas de futebol. E aqui eu já vou mudar a chavezinha, tá? Já vou começar a falar em inglês e você já vai ver a legenda aí na sua tela para o nosso amigo participar. We are here with OJ Drake Ramberg, the guy that has a lot of stories about jerseys, about soccer, about Nike. You can see his collection in the back, and oh my gosh, Drake, thanks so much to make time to be here with us, and we really appreciate. And please tell our listeners, our audience, who is OJ Drake.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me on, Rafael Rodrigo. This is cool. I've never done a Brazilian podcast, so thanks for inviting me in. My name's Drake Ramberg, and I'm a designer. I'm an artist, and I recently, I guess it's been a year now since I left Nike after a 37-year career working in design there in lots of different roles, but a lot of people know me from my 6 years working in football over in Europe from 1990 to 96. And so, we're looking forward to having a conversation about those old days. It seems like they're relevant because of a lot of the stuff that we worked on is it's still popular and still a lot of people like to look back at those years and have affection towards the jerseys that I was able to work on. And so, let's get this thing going.
Jerseys, I don't know if you have a favorite one, if you have that one that you look and make you feel emotional sometimes about it. You are talking, I start to think about it, like how many jerseys that just look and say, okay, this one's like my lucky jersey. I remember when I was with this jersey, what are what my team won that day, and I have some connections with jersey about it too. I don't know do you have a favorite jersey, not one that you created, but one that you have?
Well, you mean like this beauty here?
That's a good way to start. That's a good way to start the episode. I like it.
I'm just messing with you. Well, I like all jerseys. I like to collect them, and as you can see, I've got a bunch that I worked on, plus a lot of other shirts from different clubs and federations, and so I just love seeing all the art and stories and design and the culture around all kinds of different jerseys. But I never am good at having one favorite, but it's the ones I worked on. I would say it's the Borussia Dortmund 1995 when they first won the Bundesliga with the wings down the sleeves, and then also the Arsenal, the original Arsenal 1994 home shirt, and then next year we did a lightning bolt away shirt that's pretty famous with the large lightning bolt with the blue away shirt. So those are my personal favorites of the ones that I worked on.
By the way, that looks like the Arsenal tried to bring back that colors that you use for this one, right? I'm right.
Yeah. I think it's been. I guess I look at it as a nice honor that they think that it feels like now that lightning bolt is part of the club's identity, right? And it's Adidas has been using it on as details on their home kit and away kit, and some of their recent away kits are even the same color, the dark navy blue and light blue with kind of a lightning bolt kind of pattern. And so, I think they've done a nice job of representing, that part of Arsenal's history. So it's fun that that it's still relevant today.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of questions, a lot of stories, because we all love football. We all love like the jerseys. We always me and Rafael, we always talking about that. Like, if you can't, if we can just using like soccer jerseys everywhere we go. We have even like common nice stories in Brazil where our wives or girlfriends, they just dress, they are always well dressed to go out with the partners, and
Yeah.
when they look, the partners are just with using a soccer jersey, and they are always complaining why I'm dressing that well and you are just using a soccer jersey, and we always say I'm dressed very well as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, this is, I think that's our
Football,
feeling.
his football shirts are always in fashion, and they always look make you look very handsome. In Spanish, I would say muy guapo.
See, yeah. So I think from now on, Rafael, I think we can just give our wives OJ Drake Instagram, and they can complain with him because he has
Yeah.
like a good part of that fault. He built like the most iconic jerseys. So
Yeah.
I think he has like some guilt on this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fun to see that you see musical artists, other athletes in other sports, NBA, NFL, in the U.S. I mean, football culture is everywhere now, and it's fashionable and trendy, and yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I believe you know this guy is Chad Ochocinco. You know, the wide
He used to
receiver for the
play,
Bengals.
played
Yeah.
for Oregon State back near where I live, like a couple hours south from here. But yeah, he
Ex-
played for Cincinnati Bengals. Yep.
Exactly. And Chad now every live with Shannon Sharp, he's wearing a soccer jersey, and like two shows ago was Grêmio. The last show was Novo Horizontino, like just very alternative jersey. They say, okay, what's going on here? But Rodrigo, you can start our
Yeah. I
follow
was
our
just
script.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking, okay, we have like so many things, so let's just start point, a start point, and then we can go from there. So
Sounds
I
good.
think our first question that came to our mind is like, how did your connection with football begin? Because being a designer, being a t-shirt designer, and now you are like a jersey designer. So how is your connection with football?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me take a couple minutes and give you a little bit of my history. So I grew up not far from where I currently live in Beaverton, Oregon. And as a American boy growing up here, we have local teams, the Portland Trailblazers and the Portland Timbers. But I loved playing basketball growing up, and American football, of course, were those are the sports that most American kids play, right? But I was too small. I was pretty short at the time, and so I was too small to play American football. And then around that's probably in the 1970s or late 70s. Um, Soccer arrived in the United States, and a lot of young kids were starting to play it as again it's an alternative to baseball, football, and basketball, the classic American sports. So I was drawn to that, and it was perfect. I loved it, and I played on a couple of teams when I was a teenager, and um, then played on my high school team. So I loved playing it. And then, like I said, the Portland Timbers were started here in 1977, I think it was, in the original NASL, North American Soccer League. And so I'd go watch those games and just was loving it. And back then the Cosmos, were playing, and Pele played for the Cosmos, and they had all these great stars. They had Beckenbauer, and it was an amazing time to just start to understand that there's a huge world of football beyond the United States. So that's kind of where I first started getting into football. But it wasn't until I started working at Nike. They had me work on the original Nike Premier soccer collection in about 1989. And then Nike was going to really start investing in the world of football. So they sent me over to Europe in 1990. And that's where I kind of was just dropped in the deep end of okay, we're in Europe. These people, they've been playing football for a century, 100 years already, and so I had a lot to learn. But I was ready for and excited for the opportunity.
You started designing jerseys for Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, Lyon, PSG, right?
Yeah,
And like I believe now in 2026 you should have, I don't know, 200, 300 jerseys designed in your career. Do you have a favorite one? Do you have one that you look and say, okay, that one I love it because I don't know, was
yeah,
during your turn in Europe, was because you saw a special player wearing that?
yeah. I mean, as I mentioned before, I mentioned the Dortmund and PSG jerseys were probably, or not, sorry, Dortmund and Arsenal were probably my favorites. But you're right. When I arrived there, Nike had PSG and Dortmund and Lyon were that's it. Those are the three clubs we had over there, and so started just learning about their history, their culture, and going to each of their cities and learning about them as an American, and not just me, but our team. So yeah, myself as a graphic designer, I'm working alongside an apparel designer and a couple other team members on the product team. But that's kind of how it began. And then we signed Arsenal in 1994, Italy and Nigeria in 1995. We signed also PSV Eindhoven, a Dutch team, in around that time. So yeah, of all those, I think the Arsenal and the Dortmund ones were my favorite ones.
By the way, this question's in the end, Rodrigo, but what's going on between Nike and Nigeria? Because they never miss. Like every jersey looks like, okay, this one's amazing. And they
Yeah.
came with something different. Did you put your hands on kind of these projects with Nigeria and Nike during your tenure there?
Yeah, I didn't mention Nigeria. You're right. They came along around the same time, 1995, and I mentioned the Borussia Dortmund Wings jersey. Around that same time, Nike had signed Nigeria, and it was a very quick timeline to get them jerseys on the field, and so um, we didn't have time to go to Nigeria or do much of anything. We knew they were called the Super Eagles, and we knew their colors, and so we did a lot of research around their history and their style, and basically we thought let's just use the Dortmund template and recolor it. And so the first shirts that we did for them were green with white and black sleeves with the wings, and then the crest of the flying, sorry, the Super Eagles, and that was kind of just a quick thing. And I think we did it in white as well. And then the following season, we had more time to develop a full concept, and that's the one that they wore for the '96 Olympics, where they won the gold medal, and everybody's familiar with that, with
Exactly.
JJ Okocha and the rest of their amazing players, very amazing style of play. But that design was inspired by the Nigerian flag with the bold green and white vertical stripe, and then it just had Nigeria across the center, and it was kind of non-traditional approach because we took the crest off the chest and put it on the sleeve, but it just said Nigeria really large on the front and had the eagle and the black and white triangle kind of African-inspired pattern in the collar. So yeah, I think that jersey turned out beautiful, and now ever since, yeah, I think there hasn't been a bad Nike Nigeria jersey. Maybe there's
That
been a few. There's probably just different degrees of good, but the ones that they rolled out in 2018, I think were amazing, and I'm sure it's just sad that they didn't make this World Cup, but they did pretty good in the AFCON tournament recently, and so everybody. I think there's a lot of people that love Nigerian football, and it's been fun that Nike's been a great partner with them since basically 30 years.
Yeah, but Drake, you just mentioned that you tried something that was like a huge innovation, was taking the patch from the chest and put on the sleeves. But like in the process of creation, is something that someone from Nike or from the national team, whoever you are creating the jerseys, they ask you for, okay, hey, you need to do this or that, or you just came with like everything from your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer it for the Nigeria, and it's the same for all of the ones. I don't think any club or national team ever tells us, we want exactly this. I mean, you'll have, if you're going to work on like a Real Madrid, it's going to be a white shirt. If you work on Barcelona, it's going to be, red and blue stripes. So they don't have to tell you, when you learn from doing if you do the proper research, you kind of know where those guidelines are and what not to do.
I see.
And if you're working on like the England national team, it's going to be a white jersey with the crest right there, right? But there are certain teams that you kind of have opportunities to push and try new things. And again, you present it to them and you explain your research and why you did what you did. And if they don't like it, then it's back to the drawing board,
I see.
But at the time we were this new brand Nike coming into the world of football, and I think when national teams or clubs were working with us, they expected us to think out of the box, bring freshness to the world. I think at the time there was Umbro, Adidas, Puma. In at least in Europe, those were the big ones, and they were pretty traditional with their approach with jerseys, and then Nike came and we kind of spiced it up a little bit.
Yeah, from club to club, and you have some boundaries to respect,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like inside of that, you can just play around. Nice, nice.
In the Nigeria, the previous a couple of the ones, if you look at what they had worn with Adidas before they signed with Nike, they did have like a big Nigeria on the front. I think it was like probably 93 or 94. So, there was also precedent that they were willing to kind of do different with their jerseys and go different directions. So that opened the door. They were clearly a federation that was not going to expect something very, very traditional.
Talk about traditions. I believe that you heard about the Brazilian almost red jersey, like
The Jordan.
was the Jordan, yeah. Uh, you saw this jersey
Well,
in
I've
Nike or
seen
not?
it, leaked online and
Look like
footy highlights stuff. And to be honest, I don't know what's real until it gets officially launched. But I've seen it and I've heard a lot of good and bad commentary about it. But yeah, so what's your question?
what's your thoughts about a red jersey for Brazil? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? If you have an idea, like what's what's Drake gonna make in red for Brazil?
Well, I mean, obviously, if I've never worked on Brazil officially, but I know that their home shirt's going to be yellow, canary yellow, right? And traditionally, their away kit is blue, some shade of blue. I think, didn't Nike roll out a white jersey that had some kind of historical precedent for Brazil? I think, did they do a white jersey a couple of years ago?
Yes, yes, yeah. It was homemade for, I believe, our first jersey in World Cups.
Yeah, so in that case, that had a historical reference, and white is a beautiful color for a away jersey or a third jersey. So then, beyond that, I if I if I was to go in and present to Brazil a red away kit, I would know that there's going to be maybe some controversy. I guess in some ways I'm more traditional. I think you got to be respectful of each team's heritage and what the players and the fans are going to think is appropriate and authentic. And so, if I was to roll a red jersey, and I don't know what Nike's plan is, but it may be a third jersey, an alternate jersey, a special commemorative jersey. So, when you get to those third or fourth jerseys, then I think you're not worried about tradition or history. If it makes sense for that club or that federation and those fans, and there's a great story behind it, then I'm all for it.
Uh, Talking about Brazil, like we have a story. I don't know if it's an urban legend or no, but that you started to create the first Brazilian jersey with Nike, and it will look like the Italian jersey from '95. Is this
Yeah,
true? It's not. It's a real urban legend.
yeah, man. It had been like 25 years, and I was going through a lot of my old stuff from my design work when I was in Europe, and I came across that rendering, which you guys will probably show, of the kind of a mock-up of a potential Nike Brazil jersey. And I ended up posting on Instagram, and I was trying to remember exactly what uh, what sparked that and where that came from. And I believe it was, as you referenced, probably around the time we had the Italian team, because there's some very similarities in the jersey and the concept. And when did Nike sign Brazil? Was it '98? I think. Or
No, we started to use in '97 because
Yeah,
'96 we still were Umbro
under
during
Umbro.
the Olympic Games in Atlanta.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, '97.
when you think about the timing, usually contracts are signed with a federation 1 or 2 years before that, so that would be about 1995. So I think probably what I had heard that that either we were in contract negotiations or we had signed them. I don't remember exactly the timing, and you know I was working on football out of Europe, and I probably was like, oh well, if we were to design it out of Europe, we've already done some work with Nigeria and the Italian team, and this could be a cool direction. But what was happening is the North and South America regions and geographies were being designed out of our world headquarters here in Beaverton, and so there was teams working on Boca Juniors and the U.S. National team, and I think the decision was made basically to have the teams here work on Brazil. And by then, by '96, I came back to the United States, and I was assigned to some other things. So that's a little bit what I know and understand about the mystery behind it. And I don't even know who designed like those first couple of Brazil kits. I'd love to talk to him about it, and just because they're also around that time, Nike had a deal with Major League Soccer and was doing all those what Chicago, New York, Chicago, Rowdies, all those kind of teams in the Major League Soccer. So there was a different crew of designers working on that.
Yeah, and whoever designed that 1997 Brazilian jersey, I think has it's a good designer, because in 1998 we got like almost the same version where we went to the World Cup, and this shirt is still like is even selling more in nowadays, because it's kind of now it's fancy and expensive, and everyone want to have that that jersey specific. So yeah, I think it was like a good choice for me. It's the most beautiful Brazilian jersey ever.
Was that the El Fenomeno's first World Cup?
Yes,
Exactly. The
exactly.
same World Cup from this one
It
here.
had,
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
had,
it's the
yeah,
same.
it had down the sleeves, and then he was wearing
The cleats.
imperial
The cleats,
on.
yeah, it's a iconic photo. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was a pretty good design right out of the start with Brazil.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and at the same time it looks simple, it looks clean, but it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. And just talking about our World Cup, we don't have like all the Nike jerseys revealed yet, but so far, which are the most beautiful jersey for the next World Cup for you? Doesn't have to be
Um,
from Nike, because probably you saw them, but we didn't see, so it doesn't make sense to us. But like for the
yeah.
the, the countries that are already revealed.
Well, yeah. I mean, Nike hasn't rolled out their World Cup jerseys yet,
Yes.
Yeah.
so obviously I can't speak to that. And that'd be a hard question to answer. I don't. I remember seeing Adidas launch theirs like a month or so ago, and yeah, they had some great designs. And but I don't remember specifically the teams. I was in Argentina last fall, and I think they had the new Argentina one out there. Um, but I don't remember all the specific jerseys.
Yeah. If it didn't catch you, you didn't like love one yet.
Yeah.
So
Not yet. I think once you see it on field with the whole the whole
the whole
kit,
kit. Yeah.
and then you start watching the World Cup, then you start going, oh wow, that one turned out really good, looks good on the field. That's probably is you guys probably the same thing. It's one thing to see it at a on post on Instagram or at even at this in a store, but to see it in a match situation with the shorts and the socks, yeah, then you really can kind of appreciate how it comes together.
Yeah, makes
Exactly.
sense.
We in Brazil we have a joke that the last two World Cup titles that we won, like both jerseys at the time, we everybody says it's horrible. Okay, so we are just joking. Okay, Nike made a bad job now in March, but we're gonna buy it anyways if we won.
Yeah.
Do you know which was the best selling jersey that you designed?
I have no idea.
No idea.
They. I don't. I would assume it's probably one of the Arsenal ones, just because it's the biggest. I think it was probably the biggest club that I worked on, or maybe Dortmund, because I mean they have. I think they have the biggest stadium in Europe. I think it's 70,000 fans, and so I would assume one of those. But I don't recall receiving, or if they did, I can't remember it. Like sales of all their jerseys, like how many this sold or that sold. It was probably just more on did they look good? Do the fans love them? That was probably the most important thing. Um, anyway,
Yeah, and also you still talking talking a bit about money. Do you have any idea how much worth your collection? The collection behind you?
yeah, I have some idea. I mean, some of the shirts I've gone on eBay and I'm like, oh my god, that's five hundred
I
dollars,
see.
$100, and so yeah, to me it's priceless because many of those are my original shirts, that I've been carrying around for 30 years, and they were in a box in my garage for about 20 years, and as I kind of, the dawn of Instagram, and I started posting things, and then there was just a lot more interest in football culture and kits, people wearing kits probably in the last 10 years. And so started just sharing more of those stories. And then, then it seems like, they're like classic football shirts, and there's all these stores and brands out there that are selling vintage jerseys and retro jerseys. So it's become a huge business. And I think that, the prices of everything have skyrocketed.
Yeah, I was just talking to Rafael before, when we was like researching, watching some things about you. I was just saying to Rafael, man, I'm 5 hours driving from Drake. I think we need to set up like another video just to get and know his collection, because
Yeah,
it
come
looks
on,
amazing. It's
come
nice.
on down. Come on
Yeah,
down. You're always welcome. Yeah, and
yeah.
I love Vancouver. I've been up there, my son and I, a couple times, and beautiful city. Yeah, it's only probably 5 or 6 hours, depending on the border crossing there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's we're kind of over here on the northwest corner of North America.
Uh, Still talking about your job. Your most recently work was with Venecia, like the Lions jersey that you created, or do you work in another project right now? Are you working in another project right now?
Yeah, since leaving Nike, I think the Venezia project was the first design project that I was asked to participate in. I've been doing some appearances, podcasts, interviews, but I also have a couple other design projects that I've been working on, and those will come out probably this year. And so it's been fun. Now that I've left Nike, I'm like a free agent, and so somebody will DM me or
Yeah.
email me and say, "Hey,
We need your
we
expertise
need,
here.
some help here," and I'm like, "Cool." The funny thing is, I was having some interviews when Venezia launched the latest jersey, and it's been 30 years since I designed real soccer jerseys. So who knew? Maybe some people would say, well, 30 years, what do how would you even know how to do it anymore? But I don't know. It seems like I've always still been in touch with football culture and still doing art and design all these years. And, I think I did okay with that shirt, and I think I still got it.
Yeah, nice,
No,
nice.
you did amazing.
Yeah, you did amazing. It's so
Thank you.
beautiful. And uh, how long is the process for you to design? I mean, I know it depends because you have like back
Yeah.
and forth with the team, but let's say you receive a mission, you receive a call, say, hey, the Nike needs a new jersey for, I don't know, for Arsenal. Uh, how long do you think to prepare and present the first mock-up for the Nike?
Yeah.
And
So
if you can explain how the your process work, because maybe some designers are watching this is gonna watch this video, and they can just have you as an inspiration. So maybe it's nice for them to understand your process.
yeah, I mean the big clubs and the big brands like a Nike or an Adidas, it's usually about a 2-year cycle, where from the minute you kind of get the first brief or assignment as a team that you're going to work on it. And so usually, there's like I said, there's a graphic designer, and there's a apparel designer, and there's a developer. So at a large brand, there's a whole team that is working on football. And like within Nike, there's in global football, there's it might be 20, 25 different designers, and they all get kind of assigned to different teams, right? But once you're assigned to it, then you start researching. You might travel to that country or that city, start doing your research, talk to the club, talk to the players, and just kind of get a fully immersed in their culture and their world. And then you start designing, and usually there's a bunch of internal reviews with your Nike people that are helping to make sure that it's what the brand, what the brand stands for, and then what does that club or federation stand for, and make sure that that comes together and it's what we want to present to them. So there's usually like probably a couple months of that, and then it's like, okay, now we gotta either fly to Brazil or fly to Arsenal and then present it to them and get their feedback. And at that point, it's usually renderings or sketches. You may have a prototype, a sample to show them. Depends on how much feel good about that jersey. But bottom line is you present it to them and get their feedback, and either it's back to the drawing board and you have to rework some things, or you've kind of got kind of a thumbs up from them, and then it's just kind of once they've kind of given you the approval that they like it, then you start really working a lot closer with our factory partners to get all of the embellishments, applications, the colors, the chassis, the silhouette, all those things dialed in, and so that you can kind of present to the club another round that's like, this is pretty close to what your final jersey is going to be. So that whole process might take 6 months, 8 months to really kind of get that nailed down, and especially for a team like Brazil, it may take even longer, because I think like in Brazil, wasn't there a new president of the federation that came in the last year, right? So change of during that time there could be new people, and they have different ideas, different feedback. But bottom line is that's how the big brand will work. And then once it's approved, there's another year and a half of working on the production element, working with factories, and then lining up all of the orders and sales, and then everything gets shipped to distribution centers, around the world. So that's why that process is very long.
Yeah.
But for, let's say, the Venezia one, I was starting to work on it this about a year ago in like late January, and we delivered it early December, and so that was a lot shorter process. And I worked on some other projects with smaller football clubs. Yeah, their turn times are more like 6 months or even shorter. So they don't have all the layers of approval,
Approval layer. Yeah,
reviews, and as a huge company does.
I see. And another thing that is very present in the soccer jerseys are the sponsorships, like they sponsors in the jerseys. Does it make you mad on piece of, okay, they gonna just put those things on my jerseys? And also, have you ever changed a design or layout of a jersey because it doesn't fit well with the sponsor?
Yeah, it goes with the territory, especially, not national teams, but with clubs. You just know that their sponsors are going to be there, and it would be sometimes irritating. Like when we worked with BVB Dortmund, it was D Continentale was kind of their sponsor the whole time that I worked with them. So you built your jersey design around that, and most of the jerseys you have to, you're going to want to kind of keep that center front open, because that's where a sponsor is going to go. So you kind of know that when you're designing it. But I remember the one that I used to get a little bit frustrated with was PSG, because they would have different sponsors on different tournaments, different home shirt versus away, and all that kind of stuff. And they were signing sponsors right up to the start of the season, the middle of the season, and you'd have this beautiful shirt, and then they would have these
Starting adding new things.
sponsor logos on it. And I know in Brazil, the clubs have a lot of big sponsors on them as well. So that's the world of football, that they need sponsorships and the money to help them survive. And you just hope that it is a logo or a sponsor that works with the shirt. I think part of the thing with I remember with PSG, it's a red, blue, and white shirt, and then they had I can't remember if it was Seat or Tortel was green and white,
Oh gosh.
and it was like, can we at least change it to white and black, or match the uniform red and blue or something? But that's their logo color, so you kind of just were like, okay, well, that's what it has to be.
I see.
Now I'm feeling bad for the guy that works with Barcelona for Nike, because now with the Spotify, like they have a different sponsor like every 2 months. It's
Yeah.
insane,
Well,
especially around the Clásico.
for many, many years, they had no sponsors, right? They were one of the few clubs. And then they signed UNICEF, I remember, about, 15 years ago. And then, yeah, since then, it's been a lot of different sponsors come in on Barca.
Exactly. You told us that you work with athletes too during the process. You're gonna talk with the players. Which player, like, that guy is out of the world, like the best player, the best guy that you need to talk about to create a jersey? That you do you have someone that, like, you remember very clear, like that guy is amazing.
Um, to be honest, I don't think I ever got great direction or feedback from a player regarding the look of a jersey. We get amazing feedback and insights about their performance needs. The material, the cut, the shape, the length of it, all those things. Do they like a collar or not like a collar? That is invaluable and crucial. But I don't recall ever having a player inspire any of our jerseys, before we worked on them. I guess the one player that stands out that I do remember meeting in person was Paolo Maldini when we were working with Italy in 1994, 95, and meeting him in Milan. But just a quiet, classy guy, amazing, incredible defender for many years with Italy and with AC Milan. But yeah, I think we look to them just more for making sure that they're comfortable and we're helping them play uh, great on the field with their boots and their apparel.
Um, I know that during your 37 uh, years of career with Nike, you spent, I believe, 9 months away. I believe it was 2001, 2002. And you told in another podcast that you applied to a job in Adidas, but nobody got in touch with you, and you came back to Nike. But during this time, any Adidas or any other competitor ever try to recruit you, like try to hire you?
Raphael, man, he's went deep in his research, man. You've been checking up on me, man. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Okay, if
because
you can share, if you can't, no problem.
how did you
well,
get? How
because
did you,
we we
well,
we we just we know we feel that you make a difference in the Nike football history,
yeah,
because you design iconic things there. So it's kind of curious to see,
yeah,
because I can imagine, like, in the other side, seeing like a big rival
yeah,
coming to my way, and I say, okay, who is doing those things, who is responsible for that?
yeah.
And you were like that guy for then. So that's why that's a good
Well,
question, I guess.
I think, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. At the time, I mean, I don't think anybody knew who the designers were that worked on, besides, like, people knew Tinker Hatfield worked on Jordan or whatever in footwear, but in apparel, I don't think there was anybody from competitors or fans or consumers. I don't think anybody knew who we were. At Nike and at other large brands, we work for a huge studio. You all work together, and it's not about yourself. And even when I came back from Europe in 1996, I started working on, NFL football and college basketball, and I ended up having other roles. And So at that time when I did get laid off from Nike in 2001, um, yeah, I nobody was like, "Hey, Drake Ramberg, he worked on Nike football for 6 years. Let's hire him over at Umbro or Adidas." Never happened because they had no clue about that, and I suppose I could have used that to my advantage and reached out to those companies and said, "Hey, if you're looking for a football designer, blah blah blah." But when you've been working for Nike for 15 years, it just didn't feel right really to work for your direct competitor. I mean, we're in that business. It's very strong competition between those brands at that top level, and so it just felt like, how would you compare it? Like if you I don't know, would you guys start rooting for Argentina next week?
No
Yeah.
way. No way.
Yeah, but yeah, talking about that, is there like any club or national team that you wish you could have designed for?
Well, I would have loved to work on Brazil, of course, or the United States. Back in the day. I think those are the main two. It would have been fun to be able to work on Portland Timbers at some point, but it's been quite a few years since Nike had a contract with Major League Soccer. So, um, yeah, that would have been fun.
And is there any specific kit that you see like when it was ready and you love it and you said, "Oh, I wish I would responsible for doing that." Not doesn't need to be like from Nike or but you just see and you said, "Okay, that's so beautiful. I wish I could have that idea and created
Yeah.
that jersey."
I mean, I see them all the time. I mean, I think some of my colleagues have done some cool stuff with Corinthians, right?
Yeah.
And I've bought some of their kits. I like some of the stuff we've done with with Barca. Some of them I have a whole bunch of PSG jerseys that I since they're still a Nike club. I love a lot of their away shirts and alternate shirts. They're a lot of these brands now. They're a lot about fashion and street and. I mean, like you said, I mean, how many shirts do these clubs have? And but there's some cool ones out there.
Uh, you are talking that you are working on other projects. This visit to Argentina is related to one of them?
No, there was this
Oh,
convention, a football convention called FootCon,
yeah.
and it was the first opening of it in. It was like the last part of November, like middle November of this last year, and they invited me down to be a speaker, and it was all about football, culture, music, design, um, art, and a lot of fun. I mean, you guys probably have those that you've been to. It's like Complex Con or those kind of things where you have different presenters, or it was almost like a TED Talk. They have
Yeah.
TED Talk in Vancouver, um, and so it was a kind of a hybrid of a TED Talk where you have speakers, but you have all these different vendors and food and music. It's just kind of like a festival atmosphere for 2 days in late November. And of course, it's summertime. It was springtime when I was down there, so beautiful time to be in Buenos Aires.
Nice. And the World Cup. Do you have plans to attend the World Cup, attend the games?
I would love to. But I are they in Vancouver?
Yeah, Vancouver and Toronto will have games.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have
And
games.
then I don't know if Seattle. I don't think Seattle.
Seattle will have games as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
you are like close to
I
two places
could,
that
or LA. I could, or obviously by airplane you could fly anywhere. But I don't have any current plans. I mean, I think the ticket prices are pretty expensive, and so we'll see. Unless somebody invites me and gives me tickets, we'll see.
yeah, this is something that I was about to say. Come on, man. You can just talk with someone from Nike, say, "Hey, give me some tickets."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think I have that much power still.
Drake, Rodrigo, do you have another question?
No, I think
Okay.
it's good. Yeah.
Okay, Drake, thanks so much to make time to talk
Yep.
with us, to give so much knowledge, to tell so much stories, a lot of stories. Was amazing. Pick up a little bit of our brain of history, and I hope this is just the first meeting with us.
Yeah.
And if you want to say something to our audience in Brazil, the stage is yours.
Okay. Well, no, thanks for having me on. It's been fun. I mean, I always enjoy just talking about football and design and my journey and so many opportunities I have. I'm very thankful for. So that it's been fun. I guess my final question for you guys
Hmm.
is who's going to win the World Cup?
You have
This
the jersey.
podcast,
You have the
this,
jersey right beside you.
I
exactly.
mean,
This
okay, let me just say, first of all, of course, you're going to say Brazil, but taking off your Brazil hats, all right, let's say who are the top 3 to 5 teams you think that have a good chance of winning?
Do you want to start, Rafael, or should
okay.
I?
I can go. I can go. I believe Spain. Uh, unfortunately,
Argentina.
Argentina,
Yeah,
and I don't want to put them, but yeah, they have a good team now. But England, I believe these three
yeah,
maybe will be the top three. Obviously, Argentina, Spain, one step above. By the way, we'll have the chance to watch them play in March in the Finalissima. Argentina against Spain will be a nice test for both of them.
When
But
is it?
I believe it will be 26th of March. Is it the
Oh,
end of March for sure? I don't know the date exactly,
okay.
but they're gonna play each other. It's like
Yeah.
it's a tradition now. The winner of the Copa America against the winner of uh,
Wow.
Eurocopa Euros. So
Oh, that'll be
be
cool.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I mean, in Spain did look amazing. They looked dominant. They won the Euros, right?
yeah.
And yeah, they're always good. What about you, Rodrigo?
yeah. Well, I agree with Spain, but I also think France have a good team as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
They got like in two finals, in the last two finals.
yeah.
They still have a good generation, so I think they can be a good, candidate for that.
Yeah.
So I would keep Spain, France, and yeah, unfortunately, Argentina. Yeah,
Okay.
I believe in Portugal. I think Portugal has a good generation too, but I don't know if they have that strong mentality
Yeah,
and to get there. But I know they have a good.
yeah.
I'll go with those three, even
No,
front of Brazil.
yeah. In the
Unfortunately,
FIFA, they are amazing. Let's see, they are playing the real World Cup.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be the same as you guys said. I mean, England. I mean, I watch a lot of Premier League football, and I mean, they are so good, and obviously they're not all English players on their teams, but a lot of them are, and so you just wonder why they can't get over the hump and win a World Cup when they get there. But um, yeah, I mean, I got to root for Brazil. I mean, we've got a whole Brazil contingent on Arsenal with Gabi Jesus and Gabriel and who am I forgetting?
The three Gabriel.
The three Gabriels.
Yeah, Gabby
Gabriel.
Martinelli. Yeah, the
Yeah,
three Gabriels basically, and and then obviously Brazil always is strong. I mean, Argentina will be right there. England, of course, they should be there. I'm trying to think if there's any dark horses. I mean, there's always a team out of Africa that shows up, and Morocco did the last World Cup. They played. Did they get to the round of 16 or round of
No, they
eight?
get the same final.
Morocco's
Quarterfinal.
semi
Play the
final.
same
Yeah.
final.
That's right, the Final Four. So yeah, so there'll be one of those probably in the mix, and then I always root for the Dutch, the Netherlands, because I lived there for 5 years, and they've had some amazing teams, but they just haven't. They've got to there and got beat by Spain, I think, in like 2012 or something like that.
2010, 2010.
2010, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
final. Yeah,
where I think Iniesta beat them or something, right?
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
so they've been so close, and the Belgians have been, close as well. So I just Germany Germany is, they should be there, but they haven't looked that great in the Euros and stuff. And then Italy, sorry, they haven't looked very good this time. So I think you're right. Probably Brazil, Argentina, England would be top three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe in Germany. I don't believe in Portugal. I'm sorry, but yeah, let's see if Italy comes to play in Toronto, because if they won't,
Yeah,
the playoff, they're gonna play against Canada in the first game, and man, it will be amazing for
yeah.
Toronto, for
Yeah.
Canada, because it'll be a huge game.
Has Canada? Oh, Canada will be in because they're a host
Yeah.
nation.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always root for Canada too. I have a lot of good feelings about my Canadian friends.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's see. I believe the World Cup will be amazing. I just hope that we solve a lot of issues related to politics before.
Yeah, I hope so
Started.
too. I hope so too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate it. That's been fun, and yeah, let's do it again. Maybe later after the World Cup or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
in
try. But
person.
before we finish, hold on, Rafael. Before you finish, I'm just doing right now is starting my lob to my soccer team from Brazil. Guys, this is the man. Please get in contact with him to get a new jersey for us, please.
All right, all right. You put in the word. Okay, yeah. You can find me on Instagram. It's D Ramberg, and just love talking football and participate in the culture. So,
Yeah.
seeing you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All the links for Drake Ramberg will be here in the description of the video. You can follow him in Instagram. He'll be tagged. So, thanks so much, Drake. Valeu, Rodrigo. Valeu, galera. Até a
Valeu,
próxima. Forte
rapaziada. Até a
abraço.
próxima.
Tchau,
Tchau,
All right,
tchau.
tchau.
ciao.